So it seems that we've kind of made it through the excessive let's buy absolutely everything obsession, and now we're here, so what's next? Hi everyone, I hope you're doing really well today. Today I'm here to talk about something that I wouldn't normally talk about on my channel, but I feel like my algorithm is pushing me to talk about it because it is appearing everywhere in my recommended videos, in my recommended reels, in my recommended everything that I see. Now for me, I kind of see this as a step in the right direction, a kind of a more positive step, if you will, but it's not without its problems. And I know that there are huge debates about everything these days, if we're honest. Everything seems to come with a double-edged sword. You can't seem to like anything without it being problematic for whatever reason. But for years, I have thought that the constant over-the-top hauling has become a bit too much. And not because I don't think people should buy things, but a lot of the time, some hauls seem to tip into just a bit of a shady category. And as much as I love watching people buy things and what they get, and as much as I enjoy a good haul myself, I do love going shopping and getting myself some new things. As much as I enjoy all of that, there is the element to it that some channels, and it has been getting progressively worse and worse and more widespread. Some of these channels just seem to be buying things for the sake of buying them. I'm talking Temu and Shein and all of that massive internet storm where people are spending sort of £600-700 buying what amounts to cheap plastic tat. Now, in the interest of honesty, I've shopped at Shein before. I bought quite a few pieces of glassware a while back, new cups and glasses and things, because a lot of mine broke when I moved house and I just didn't have the money at the time to pay to buy expensive glassware from places. So I bought a lot from Shein, and they're still with me, and I use them all the time. And I do know the ins and outs of Shein and Temu, and thus why I don't shop with them anymore. But at the time, I hadn't seen too many controversial videos about them. I just sort of blindly shopped there. But a lot of the videos that I got recommended around that time were over the top hauls where people were going and spending, as I've said, a few £100 just buying things that were just things for things reason. And I do wonder how much use people are getting out of these things they've bought. Do they buy them and send them back? Which I've heard a lot of people are doing with fashion hauls. So people will consistently post pictures of all of these clothes they bought only to return them straight after. And I would love to know what people think of that. Have you got any feelings? Do you think that these things are kept, or do you think they're binned, or what do you think happens with them? But that's not to say I don't like consumerism at all. I would rather see someone spend, if they've got £700 to just drop, I'd rather see someone spend £700 and buy themselves a really nice couple of items, something really nice, something that they'll keep for years. I've got no issue with them spending £750 if they've got that to spend. But when they spend £750 on cheap toothbrush holders and plastic that they go, oh, it doesn't really work that well, oh, the sound quality isn't that great, but I'll keep it anyway. Will you? Or are you going to get rid of that? And I think there's probably a lot of people feel the same way, which is what has caused the underconsumption core that we are now starting to see a lot of. It has become a huge trend online, and I'm just wondering where that ends, because as much as I kind of agree with consuming a lot less and buying a lot less that we don't need, I also wonder what happens to the things that you had before. Some of these people that we're seeing now pushing under consumerism are people that were uploading massive hauls not so long ago, and where has the stuff gone? Where is it all gone? Has everything gone into landfill? Is everything just bin? Where's it gone? And it also seems a little bit off, sort of showing off the amount of things that you don't have when you were pushing people who don't have things to then spend money they didn't have to buy what you had. I feel like it's just very contradictory, and I don't feel like these underconsumption posts really actively believe what they're preaching. I feel like a lot of it is just for the moment. Now, in my own life, I used to buy a lot of things. I used to go out buying all the new makeup releases. I used to buy handbags and shoes and clothes and all of the different things that I saw people having, and I sort of fell under that consumerism trap myself for a while. It was years ago now, but I spent a lot of my spare cash on what amounted to be junk. And the reason that I say it amounted to be junk is because I ended up, when I had a massive clean out, I ended up getting rid of tops and things. I mean, I donated them. They all went to charity shops and things. I didn't bin them, but I ended up finding tops that still had labels on them, shoes that I'd never worn. I'd bought them because I thought I might go a place that I might wear them, and I never did. I just bought them because I saw blogs talking about it and thought I needed them too. I bought fancy handbags and things like that, and I just don't use them. I really don't. And so there came a point, sort of a moment where I realised myself that I just didn't need these things. I didn't need 17 makeup palettes. I didn't need 45 lipsticks. I didn't need all of it because I wasn't using it. So I decided to declutter my life a little bit, and I got rid of loads of things, so much stuff. Books I don't read, books that I don't want, books that I don't intend to read, shoes that I won't wear, shoes that were new that I either sold or donated, clothes that I won't wear that I either sold or donated, bags, tableware, fancy things that I didn't need them. And I really managed to cut down a lot of my stuff. And did it make me happier? Yeah, it did. I became aware of just how much money I was spending on eating out, for example. I really enjoy going to restaurants and I enjoy food. I became aware of how much I was spending on going to restaurants and things and takeaways, anything like that. And I made changes that worked for me for the better, such as I learned different cuisines and how to cook them. So I will make my own Wagamamas now. I make my own sushi. So although I have a lot of cookbooks, which people would possibly consider overconsumption, they work for me because they've cut down my consumption in other areas of life. I rarely eat out now. I do sometimes for a treat, rarely, a couple of times a year. Majority of the time, I will cook the foods that I used to enjoy getting elsewhere and pay a fraction of the price for them because I've cooked them myself. As for makeup and things, I cut down. I just wasn't wearing it. I tend to keep one eyeliner. I've got one eyeshadow palette. I've got about 3 or 4 different lipsticks, I think. Not very many. And a lip balm and a couple of sort of what I would consider essentials, concealer. But again, I cut right down. I cut right down on all of the stuff. I streamlined my clothes collection. I got rid of so much stuff, and it all made me feel happier because now my house is way more organized. I have things that belong in their specific areas, and my house feels decluttered and it feels tidy and it feels inspiring to me. I like my space to be decluttered. I don't like a lot of things everywhere. It makes me feel messy in my mind. I can't concentrate properly if there's things everywhere. And so for me, I think cutting down, streamlining and making sure there was a place for everything and everything in its place, that really did help me as a person. And so I have to say, I do really like the underconsumption trend. However, only if it's here to stay. If we're actually turning a corner and realizing that we don't need absolutely everything, but the things that we do want and need, we can keep. I stand somewhere in the middle. I'm not going to put myself down as an underconsumer. I'm not going to follow underconsumption core, but I'm certainly not going to go for maximalism and owning everything because that's not for me. But some people really enjoy having all of their things, and as long as they're not getting themselves into debt, because debt is a huge problem, as long as they're not getting themselves into debt, they're living within their means and they're buying themselves treats, well then that is their prerogative. If you are lucky enough to have £1,000 a month to just throw away on whatever you want, buying yourself new things and it makes you happy, then you go for it. If you have £10 a month to spend on something nice for yourself and you're wondering whether you should do it, do it. Treat yourself if you can. If it's within your means, get yourself something nice. I do. As I say, I've cut down on a lot of different things. I now don't have the clothes, the shoes, the bags, But I do have a hell of a lot of books, and there's no way I'm going to stop buying myself books. I love them. They make me happy, and my spare cash, when it's not going into savings, goes to buying myself new treats. And I think what we really need to do is normalise being normal. If you've got extra money to spend on treats, do it. If you've got extra money to buy yourself something, maybe buy yourself something nice and not just go out and follow the latest trend. Look at what you really want. Look at what makes you happy and buy those things. If getting rid of everything is going to make you happy, then you do it. Don't wait for a trend video to tell you to do it. Do it before the trend hits. Get rid of what you don't need. But only do it if that's what makes you happy, not because you're following a trend. And make sure you get rid of things responsibly. Donate, give away, sell. Make sure that things go anywhere but landfill if you can. And try and remember to be kind, because so many of these different videos, I see people in the bottom of comments complaining when people do hauls about them spending money that they shouldn't be spending, and that's not up to you to decide how much money they have to spend. Also, similarly, I see people commenting underneath Underconsumerism videos, being unkind about cutting down on what people use and about it being the root of privilege. Let's try and remember that some people have less, some people have more, and try and just live our lives the best we can. That's my thoughts. So yeah, I'd love to know your thoughts. I'd love to know what people think, and how you live your life. Are you a maximalist? Are you someone who has a lot of money to buy yourself a lot of nice things? If you are, I'm pleased for you. I'm pleased you're doing well. Are you somebody who is in the stage of their life where they're having to scrimp and save, and you've got a way of treating yourself? Maybe it's a trip to the library, take out a few free books, read them, have some quiet time. Maybe that's your life and that's what makes you happy. But I'd love to know what makes you happy, where you stand on the consumerism trend. And that's all I've got to say on the matter. And I really hope you're all doing very well, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye for now.